Welcome back to Only Talk Sports. We talk sports every single day, or at least we try to. I'm Ernest Jeffrey. Subscribe to the channel if you like sports content. Hit that notification bell so you never miss another video. We got a big matchup in the SEC on Saturday night on ESPN between two teams that are in the college football playoff race. One that is at the top of the sport behind the Ohio State Buckeyes at the number 2 spot, and another team that is trying to fight and claw their way up to get into the top 4. And that's with the Ole Miss Rebels, who are traveling on the road to the Georgia Bulldogs. Obviously, Georgia's that number 2 team. Ole Miss, they are in the top 10, but the Rebels have to beat the Georgia Bulldogs if they want to have a shot to make the college football playoff, while Georgia, they could lose and then obviously win out and still get in the college football playoff, but it's still a big matchup for both teams. And Ole Miss, they haven't beaten Georgia at Georgia since 1996, but ironically, Ole Miss did beat the Georgia Bulldogs the last time the two teams met back in 2016, so it's going to be a very interesting matchup to see if Lane Kiffin has some tricks up his sleeve and be able to get Jaxson Dart, Quidshon Judkins, and that offense to be able to score enough points between the hedges and get that defense rolling to stop the Georgia offense. But Kirby Smart, he's had Georgia at the top of the sport the last few years. They've won the last 2 national titles. They're looking to three-peat. So me, Will, and D, and Jackson Johnson, we break down this Ole Miss versus Georgia matchup and whether we believe that Ole Miss has any shot to beat the Georgia Bulldogs, or if we think that the Bulldogs will take care of business against one of Lane Kiffin's best Ole Miss football teams.
But I will say, how about the big one in Athens? And I'll let you know what's on the line. Alabama beats Kentucky. They basically clinched the West Division. But if they lose, which I don't think that's going to happen, Ole Miss is still alive for division play. However, if Ole Miss beats Georgia, they will still be alive for the playoff hunt. And it will be the first time since 1996 that they've beaten Georgia in Athens. Will history be made? I'm not so sure. I'm going to go Georgia 31-20. I think it's going to be another close one by Georgia.
I'll go Georgia 38-17. I think they pull away and make a statement.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this game. The ESPN game as well. It's crazy. No CBS. On ESPN between Georgia and Ole Miss. I think that the Rebels are clearly, not as talented as Georgia. Georgia is not as good as they've been the last 2 years, but they're still a good team. They've been winning most of, their games fairly comfortably. They've had a couple of games where it was kind of close, but they still won. Jaxson Dart's played well, but it's going to be tough for Judkins to get a lot of yards on the ground. That's going to be the key. They need to be able to establish a run game against Georgia. If they can do that, I think they'll have a shot to win, but it will be tough. Like I said, between the hedges, it's very tough to win there. Like Jackson, it's been a long time since Ole Miss has gotten that done. Brock Bowers being out, Georgia's offense has found other ways to score. Lab McConkey's playing well. The run game hasn't been perfect, but it's been doing enough. Their defense still has a lot of talented players. I hope this is a really good game. I hope it's a close game. I hope Ole Miss plays really hard. And like Jack said, if Ole Miss can win, they're in the playoff hunt still, which is crazy. For Ole Miss, they haven't been in this discussion really ever this late in the season. But I will go with Georgia to beat Ole Miss 35-24. I think it will be a competitive game. I think Ole Miss will fight to the end, but Georgia will pull away with a late touchdown to get the win. Hummus Hero says Georgia is the most complete team in college football, top 10 offense and defense. A lot of people would argue Michigan or Oregon, but Hummus Hero has a great point with Georgia. They still possibly are the best team on paper. Subscribe to the channel if you like sports content. Like this video down below. Comment down below whether you think that the Ole Miss Rebels can go on the road and knock off the Georgia Bulldogs, the team that's been at the top of college football and the SEC for the last few seasons, or whether you think that Georgia will continue their dominance and be able to take care of business at home against the Ole Miss Rebels. Follow me on Twitter as well. Link is in the description, and I will see you next time.